I took my husband's cell phone to the repair shop that morning. The technician, the same young man I'd known since he was a teenager, nervously tinkering with his first cracked iPod screen, suddenly turned serious. The smile drained from his face as if someone had switched off the light. "Zahara," he said quietly, his voice tight but urgent. "Cancel your credit cards and change your home security codes. Don't go home alone tonight." I blinked, slowly, my 66-year-old mind struggling to connect the words. "Jamal Williams, what are you talking about? Has someone hacked Elijah's phone?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he leaned closer to the workbench, his shadow spilling across the cracked glass of the device. Then he turned the phone toward me. On the screen was a list of scheduled messages, precise, efficient, and utterly terrifying, outlining the logistics of my death as calmly as a grocery list. I've always believed it's the quiet, everyday choices that reveal who we truly are, the ones we make without thinking, in the comfortable illusion that tomorrow will look exactly like today. That Tuesday morning in Charleston, South Carolina, the air heavy with the damp, earthy scent of the low country, I made one such choice. I picked up Elijah's phone from the cherrywood nightstand we'd bought for our 40th anniversary. The screen bore that same fine crack he'd been complaining about for weeks. I decided, almost absent-mindedly, to take it down to Jamal Williams's shop on King Street, tucked between the popular coffee spot and the black-owned bookstore. Just an errand, a small act of wifely maintenance, nothing more. My name is Zahara Toussaint. I'm 66 years old. Elijah and I have been married for 41 years. Our life had long ago settled into a familiar, predictable rhythm, one I'd mistaken for safety. He didn't say a word at first, just ushered me inside, locked the door with a sharp metallic click, and flipped the sign to closed. The cheerful jingle of the bell was swallowed by silence. He led me to the back of the shop, to his repair station, a sterile, fluorescent-lit space smelling faintly of solder and isopropyl alcohol. Elijah's phone rested on the workbench, screen gleaming, whole again, as if reborn. "Zahara," Jamal said, his voice stripped of its usual professionalism. The absence of Mrs. Toussaint, my title of respect, hit like a warning. This wasn't business anymore. This was personal. You need to listen to me, and you need to act. Cancel your accounts. Change your locks. Today. Right now. I've never seen anything like this. The room seemed to lurch sideways. I gripped the cool edge of the workbench, its laminated surface biting into my palms. "What in God's name are you saying, Jamal?" "When I was testing the new screen," he said, swallowing hard, "I had to transfer some data. I found something in his messages. Scheduled messages." His jaw flexed, eyes wide and sick with regret. I almost wish I hadn't looked. I almost wish I'd thought it was a glitch and deleted it. But once I saw the first few lines, he exhaled shakily. "You have to see this for yourself." He unlocked the phone using the code I'd given him and opened a feature I'd never even heard of. A hidden folder labeled Delayed Sends. There were 7 messages, all to the same number, each set to send over the next 3 months with chilling precision. Jamal handed me the phone, then pulled his hand back as if it were toxic. "I'm so sorry, Zahara. I wish I didn't have to show you this." I began to read. The first message, then the second. By the third, the air had turned metallic and thin, and my breath refused to come. I sank onto the stool behind me. The texts were from Elijah to someone saved only as S. They weren't the foolish, tender confessions of an aging man's affair. They were cold, meticulous, and terrifyingly practical. A blueprint for my execution. A business plan for my disappearance. The life insurance policy is in the Wells Fargo deposit box. The keys under the Kipling volumes in the study. Death benefit $750,000. Zahara's signature is already on file. No one will question it. I've been documenting her cognitive decline with Dr. Alston since August, establishing a verifiable pattern if questions arise. The will leaves everything to the kids, but I'm executor. Once probate clears, I'll control distribution. They won't contest. 6 to 8 months, then freedom. Remember, grief must be convincing. I'll play the devastated widower. The community will rally behind me. No one questions a man who's lost his wife of 40 years to a sudden decline. My vision tunneled, fixed on the neat white text. The financial betrayal was brutal enough, but the mention of Dr. Alston, our family physician and friend for 2 decades, struck deeper. Elijah wasn't just planning my death. He was rewriting my sanity, weaponizing my mind against me. I scrolled to the final message, scheduled 3 months from today. "It's done. The service was yesterday. The eulogy went as planned. No one suspects a thing. I'll see you in South Beach next week. Flight 307. The condo's ready. The deed's in both our names. Our new life starts now. S. The date, January 12th. In Elijah's mind, I was already dead. Jamal's voice reached me through a haze, distant and unreal. I don't know how he means to do it or when, But these messages? Zahara, he's documenting your death before it happens. He's planning to murder you. For money, I looked up. Jamal's usually steady hands trembled. His face had gone pale beneath the harsh white light. A man who had repaired the devices of half the city now held in his hands the evidence of my life's collapse. Have you told anyone? My voice was calm, eerily calm, the steady, measured tone of a librarian silencing a noisy patron. No, God, no. I called you first thing. Zahara, we need to call the police right now. You can't go home. No, I said, my voice sharpening into something diamond hard. I stood, bracing myself against the bench, not out of weakness, but to anchor myself to this new reality. If we go to the police, what do we have? Messages on a phone. He'll say they're drafts, part of some twisted story he's writing. He's Dr. Elijah Toussaint, respected dentist, church elder, pillar of the community. And I'm the retired librarian he's already convinced people is a little forgetful. Who do you think they'll believe, Jamal? He didn't argue. He didn't have to. We both knew the answer. I looked down at the phone again, the messages lined up neatly, methodically, appointments for my own death. I need to copy these, I said quietly. Every single one. Then you'll fix this phone perfectly, as if nothing ever happened. Not a single trace, Jamal, not one. Zahara, what are you going to do? You're putting yourself in danger. I thought about Elijah pacing the kitchen last night, the restless rhythm of his footsteps, the glow of his phone screen lighting the sharp lines of his face. Was he checking these messages, making sure each one was perfectly cued, planning my murder with the same meticulous care he once used to plan our family's trip to Tuscany? It was the arrogance of it, the calm, methodical confidence that shattered my shock and left in its place a slow, burning rage. I'm going to find out who S is, I said finally, the letter tasting like ash on my tongue. I'm going to find out exactly what he's planning, and then I'll make sure the only funeral in January is for his career and reputation. Jamal stared at me, then, with visible hesitation, pulled out his own phone. I'll take screenshots. Everyone, I'll send them to my encrypted account. We need proof, with timestamps, outside the device. As he began photographing each message, I forced myself to reread them, to push past the horror and slip into the calm, analytical focus I'd spent a lifetime perfecting as a librarian. The pattern was clear. Elijah had been laying the groundwork for months, fabricating a medical history, auditing our finances, updating the insurance policy, adjusting the will. He'd found someone, this mysterious S, to conspire with, to vanish beside. South Beach, a condo, a new life built over the grave of the old one. His confidence was breathtaking. He'd written and scheduled his own script for my death, right down to the eulogy. But he'd made one fatal, predictable mistake, the kind of mistake men like Elijah always make when they stop seeing the woman next to them and start seeing only a shadow of themselves. He had underestimated me. He saw a 66-year-old wife who did yoga in the mornings, chaired her service meetings, and made his salmon dinners just the way he liked. He forgot that librarians are investigators by nature, that we follow trails, we connect fragments, we build evidence. And he forgot that a black woman who's survived this long has already outwitted a world that tried again and again to erase her. Jamal lowered his phone. It's done. Everything's backed up, time-stamped. What now? Now, I said evenly. You fix this screen beautifully. When Elijah picks it up tomorrow, you tell him it's perfect. No data loss, no errors. Tell him you ran a diagnostic to check the accelerometer. That's it. Jamal hesitated. And you, Zahara? I slipped Elijah's phone into my purse, the weight of it cold and heavy. A weapon of betrayal turned into a tool for justice. I'm going home to make dinner, I said. Then I'm going to start pulling every thread of my husband's carefully constructed lie. I stepped out into the Charleston afternoon. The sun was sinking low over the Ashley River, painting the sky a treacherous gold and crimson, beautiful and deceitful, like the 41 years of marriage that had hidden a murder beneath its calm surface. Elijah wanted me dead by January 12th. He was going to be sorely disappointed. That evening, I cooked the salmon with the mechanical precision of 4 decades habit. Sear 4 minutes, finish with lemon and dill. The asparagus roasted crisp tender in the oven. I moved through the wide kitchen, all granite countertops I'd chosen myself, copper pots from his mother, gleaming appliances, feeling like a ghost haunting my own life. Every object was a monument to the illusion I had helped sustain. Elijah came home at 6:15, exactly as he had for 41 years. I heard the key in the lock, the heavy, practiced rhythm of his steps, a man confident in his ownership of space. He appeared in the doorway, immaculate in his white dental coat, and smiled. "Something smells wonderful, dear," he said, brushing a cool kiss against my cheek. My stomach clenched. "How was your day, Elijah?" I asked evenly, the voice I'd perfected over 4 decades. Polite, composed, accommodating. "Long," he sighed. Mrs. Davenport needed a root canal, and she complained about everything from the humidity to the state legislature. He loosened his tie, the familiar shedding of his professional skin. And you? Did you meet Aisha? The test. The first quiet step into the battlefield. I turned to face him, resting a hand casually on the kitchen island. I had a good day. And yes, I took your phone to Jamal's. He said he'd finish the testing overnight. You can pick it up first thing tomorrow before work. I watched his face, waiting. The slightest flicker of panic. A tightening around the mouth, anything. But there was nothing. His expression remained calm, his eyes dismissive, his arrogance intact. Oh, wonderful, he said easily. I've been meaning to do that for weeks. The practice has been chaos. He opened a beer. The hiss of carbonation like a serpent. Jamal do his usual good work? Perfect as always, I said, turning back to the stove. The kitchen filled with the illusion of domestic peace, thin and deadly as gas. He didn't suspect. The same phone that carried the map of my death was, to him, just another device. His arrogance would be his downfall. It always had been. We ate at the mahogany table, polished to a mirror shine. Elijah talked about his new assistant, about Langston's Thanksgiving visit. Routine conversation. Ordinary lies. Actually, he said, setting down his fork with that performative thoughtfulness he used with patience, I've been thinking about the holidays. Maybe we should host everyone this year. One last big celebration before... He gestured vaguely around the dining room. Before what, Elijah? I asked, forcing the words out past the ice hardening in my gut. Before we get too old for this place, he said smoothly, sipping his wine. I've been thinking about downsizing. Something smaller, easier to manage. Less strain for you. The stairs, the garden, your memory lately. There it was. The quiet poison of manipulation poured delicately, disguised as concern. My memory, I repeated softly, meeting his gaze. My memory is fine, Elijah. I didn't move my hand when he reached across the table and patted it, a gesture both tender and condescending. He smiled, unaware that every move, every word, was already being catalogued, cross-referenced, and filed away in my growing case against him.